Hello and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 commentary. This match is between MPV and Nesta. MVP, of course, a very strong Terran player, and here our red player. And in the 6 o'clock position, we have Nesta as our red Zerg player, which is interesting. I thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update to what's been happening with my channel. I actually recorded a video and put it up there, but it hasn't had a huge number of views, so I thought I'd sneak the information in one of the casts here. So on the channel, I've now created a Facebook page so people can come along and like that and see all the updates there. As well as that, I've now organised everything on the channel into individual playlists, so we can find the StarCraft 2 commentary without a problem, and find you know, all the Minecraft and everything. So that's kind of fun and exciting, and I'm hoping, of course, to come out with virtually daily StarCraft 2 updates. I mean, already this is day 3, and I'm a touch behind. It turns out that StarCraft is actually updated on Tuesdays, and when that happens, I can't connect. Now, haha, have a look at this. MVP making a hidden barracks in the top right-hand corner, which is fantastic. This is, of course, going to be for scouting purposes. Nesta's going to come out and then is going to look, not see a barracks, and he's going to suspect something exciting and different is going on. Of course, we know that it isn't. I think he's going to be worried that there's a barracks coming out somewhere or something. Out comes another overlord. So if he comes along here, he scouts, he sees that nothing else is happening, and then is forced to take another drone off the line. You can see, of course, Nesta's already coming out with his expansion. So that drone was really just to sit there and go, hang on, are there any hidden barracks, hidden bunkers, or anything exciting? But by the looks of things, he's snuck up and he has spotted it, so now he knows what's going on, which is great. And now MVP coming out with his own quite early expansion at 3 minutes in. I mean, this one Rax expand seems to be a very popular build that I'm seeing in more and more games recently, particularly against Zerg players when they expand quite early themselves, because of course if the Terran player doesn't expand, he'll find himself economically behind, and of course Zerg players always want to be that sort of one base extra above a Terran player. In comes MVP doing his own little scouting action, just seeing that's coming out, and I imagine he's going to pop a look and have a look at the third. In the last couple of months, it seems like a lot of the pro players playing Zerg seem to be just taking third bases pretty much straight away as a matter of course. You know, knowing that both the Protoss doing their Forge fast expands and the Terran who and basically just doing a one Rex expand themselves, they know that they have to come out with a third. And if you have a look down here, no, wrong. I think Nesta is just scouting out just to see if anything funny is going on there, if there is a hidden SCV. Often that SCV is put just in the corner so it can be used for secondary scouting or sacrificial scouting later on. Out comes the Overlord. So what have we got going on? Not a huge amount whatsoever. A reactor coming down on this barracks and a factory. So I imagine he's going to be going straight to a starport. And of course we've got that orbital command on both command centers just to help get those mules out for some muling action. Now the queens, of course, plenty of queens. You tend to have one queen per base, but the last couple of weeks worth of games I've been seeing people really queen up. Ever since those long-range attacks have been updated, they're just fantastic at taking out those Hellions. And now this is interesting. Very interesting indeed. MVP coming out with his own third expansion, even before Nesta's own. And of course, at 6 minutes 30, here comes out Nesta's expansion. So 6 minutes 30, that's very, very early for a Terran player to have his own third expansion. It's usually closer to around the 10-minute mark. So as long as he can keep this hidden from from Nesta, he'll be fine. And of course, have a look. Nesta tries to scout with Zergling, but of course he is denied that by those three Marines. And out comes some double Hellions. Yep, reactor for some double Hellions, just scouting down, spotting that expansion, and I imagine he's going to build up to a handful of Hellions. Here comes 2 more to make 4 before doing a run through, and usually that's just to do a run through and try and attack the mineral line. But of course, if you have a look here, there's this fantastic wall of double evolution chambers and a spine crawler. Now, the advantage of that is that this destructible debris can be taken down, but also the spine crawler can be picked up and moved in order to let the units in and out, and that will just prevent any of these dastardly Hellions sneaking in and harassing your command line. So in comes the Overlord. I imagine he's going to be sacrificed any minute now, but that will allow him just to spot. I imagine we've got what, 3 barracks, a factory which is going to come down, and of course a starport that's going to of course be used for those double medivacs. 3rd base for MVP quickly being saturated thanks to that mule action, and of course that's happening for the same thing for Nesta. I mustn't forget what he's called. Down come a couple more drones. Now I'm going to have a look at the production tab, which I still haven't had up. So perfectly usual kind of stuff. Infantry level 1, armor level 1, a couple of tanks, starport, marine. So we're going to see marine, tank, medivac. We've got everything relatively standard. And coming out from Nesta, we've got Zerglings, that melee attack level 1, ground level carapace level 1, metabolic boost. Metabolic boost coming in just on 10 minutes, or just before 10 minutes. That's very late. Usually expect metabolic boost to come in quite early on, but he seems to be very focused on the macro level and just upgrading up as hard as he possibly can. Out come those double extractors. It looks like he's going to go for a very tech-heavy build quite early on. Have a glass of my tea. Nom nom nom. We can tell that MPV is not going to be going for a very tech aimed build. I don't think we're going to see Thors or anything too air based, just because he's not going particularly gas heavy. He's only got the 1 gas on his 3rd base. And the rest of the gas here is just for pumping out tanks and medivacs, frankly. Out comes tank sieging up. So this has all been very good. Nesta really heavily focused on getting those creep tumors out there. Of course, they can be very quickly taken out from a quick scan. On the other hand, with Nesta going so Zergling heavy, he's going to have map control for quite a while. MPV almost coming out with the push, not quite. I'd like to see him doing some drop harass, particularly with the Zerg player taking up so much of the map already. A drop in the mineral line here or even here can be highly effective. There are some spine crawlers, yes, and some spore crawlers, so I suspect he expects that's what's coming out. He has scanned it. Out coming up, six barracks. So going to stick marine heavy for a while, perhaps marauder, but no reactors. So this is Zergling out here just specifically to spot when MPV comes out with his 4th. Out comes a couple more banelings, which are highly effective against marines. Now, out comes a bit of a pushette, stimming up, running out, taking out those creep tumors and the queens. The stimmed up marines, of course, can be highly effective. They're only 1/1 marines, but so highly effective at knocking out overlords and taking out creep tumors and God knows what else. So I didn't mention this before, but Nesta has come out with his 4th, which is highly saturated already, and coming out with 4 spine crawlers. He is expecting to have to defend this. It's so far away from his main base. Viking built a few minutes ago. I neglected to point it out. Viking's just going to be going around Overlord hunting. MKV just dropping Marines, taking out spores so quickly. We've got the bulk of Nesta's army on its way up already, but they can just lift up. That's the trouble with having so little anti-air, but Nesta trying to go with his 5th. Meanwhile, MPV dropping his own 4th. And I don't think that's going to be denied. I don't think Nesta has any intention of denying that expansion whatsoever. Honestly, I'm just trying to keep an eye out for drops. Which is the tricky thing, especially with Marines. So we just spot that Viking there. Down drop the Marine just out of range, and I think this should be enough to take them out. Yep. Completely denied thanks to that Baneling action. And the Infestors and some Marines have a bit of fun. Here comes another double Medivac drop in the main this time. The advantage, of course, being is that all of the Zerglings are way up north. They're going to take a while to get down. And dropping the spawning pool very, very quickly. I imagine he's just going to stim up and see these troops. He's just going to pick up and work away. And just up comes a tower here. Good work, sensor tower. Highly, highly saturated siege tanks. And out comes, 3 more command centers, which I imagine are going to be turned into those turrets, which I've forgotten the name of. That's terrible of me. Which will be between the tanks and these planetary forces. That's going to be fantastic of stopping any very, very quick run-bys. That's terrible. Out comes another spawning pool, because of course without spawning pools he can't build these. Nesta can't build the Zerglings, which of course is what his force is mainly comprised of. Out comes another wee push, knocking out some creep tumors, which of course denies speed for his troops, Nesta's troops that is, as well as vision. Down comes pushing in the front, double Medivac drop in the back, forcing all the drones off the line. Double Medivac here. That's going to knock out a number of those drones, and of course pushing with double Medivac at the front. This is coming at all angles. He's absolutely relentless. So I imagine he's going to be pushing in the 4th right now, just decimating, actually more than decimating, halving that drone count. Pushing down with his army, and then dropping up north already. Again, this is fantastic. I love this. I love this so much. And Nesta isn't pushing back. He could send up a handful of... Well, actually, I was going to say he could push up with a handful of anything, really, and take out this base. But this is not the case. With these command centers very, very quickly becoming planetaries and the siege line, he's going to have a bit of a horrible time getting through. Nesta has his flying attacks coming through, as well as Flyer Carapace, so I imagine he's going to go... Yep, there it is. Broodlord. He's going Broodlord heavy very quickly. Now, where are those? Where are these? 11 Broodlords coming through. Now, is MPV ready for that? Let's look at the units tab, and 3 Vikings. Oh, 4 Ravens. That's good. He should be relatively set, but it's not a huge amount. I mean, as soon as he spots this, I don't believe he has spotted this. Another drop down here. I can't keep up with the sheer volume of drop that's happening. Out come the infested Terrans, knocking out that. On the other hand, the 5th base has been denied. The 4th base has had its drone count cut down, and despite the drop here, knocking out more and more of the tech in the main. Absolutely relentless. Absolutely unmoving. He's just continuing to pull out these Marines, which are currently 3/3 Marines with combat shield and stim. But it looks like there is a bit of a pushette coming in return. Moving his speedlings up, he's trying to keep keep vision everywhere, but so spine crawlers, trying to rebuild his hatchery, trying to keep his drone count up. Now, whoa, that's not a push at all. That is a good 24 SCVs, which he's just throwing away in order to help clear up some production, because he's, I believe, sitting at just on 200. He just needs it for the army, and it's very odd to see Marine or Terran army floating 2,000 minerals, and I think that's just because he's upgraded as far as he can, and his army is as big as it can be. But he has got lots of Vikings, lots of ravens, and he is prepared. He he knows what's coming, and he's prepared. Just being able to put down those point defense drones, he's going to be able to prevent so much damage between the Seeker missiles, the point defense drones, and the auto turrets. That should be enough to prevent too much damage from those broodlords. Now here comes another hatchery, which will be his 7th, I believe. This one's just been denied by another drop. Here comes a drop in the 3rd base. But I suppose this is the problem. This is where Zerg players tend to fall down, is that they don't continue to push and don't continue to harass against Terran. They can just, the Terran player can just sit here, pick up, and just continue to drop and destroying the drone line. So rather than coming out with troops or anything, troops or Zerglings or offensive units, he has to continue to drone up just in order to keep the economy. And even though he's floating a ton of minerals, he's still continuing to have to come out with these. And he's seeing 200, so many corruptors, 16, 20 odd corruptors. This is intense, such an air-focused game. A Terran ship level 1 coming out, and fusion core, which I assume is going to be for those battle cruisers. Although, whether we'll get to the battle cruisers or not, I don't know. That 5th base being very, very, very quickly denied, and rather than trying to defend it, Nesta just pulls back. Now here comes the engagement. I think Nesta is ready to go to pull in. They're both sitting at 200, both sitting pretty much maximum capacity. Takes out that missile turret in no time at all. That planetary fortress just taking out all of those broodlings in no time at all. Now, here comes the Ravens, here comes the Vikings, out go those Suka missiles. Come on, Suka missiles, and... Fantastic, there goes the broodlords, and Nesta calls the GG and leaves straight away. Too much of a call. Look at that, 80 of his supply cap down in 3 seconds. This is fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. This has been a fantastic game. It has been an absolutely epic game. I think this is the 3rd or 4th game I've casted so far, and every single one of those has been absolutely epic and insane. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you join me tomorrow with the next game, which I believe is going to be between Feast and Nesta again, and hopefully Nesta comes out of it better than he did this time. Thank you.